Giving them that experience makes them know what they're going to expect when they get out to an area like Afghanistan or Mali, where we might be fighting.
No.
A mechanized chorus of machine gun and rifle fire echoing across Loldaiga Hills in Laikipia, Kenya. But this is not a real war field.
Right, would you like to take a shot at the cameraman wearing a red shirt?
It is a simulation of what troops can expect in war. This is where and how British soldiers learn to fight.
No,
you dickhead. Kinners.
My name is Major Adrian Wheel, and I'm the Media and Communications Officer, Batuk.
Will tells me that exercising units from the British Army preparing to be deployed to hotter climates are able to mimic highly realistic scenarios.
The British Army operates all over the world, and it's important that we're able to train to operate all over the world.
This training is called Exercise Askari Storm. It is a monumental task for these soldiers.
Ready.
They must adapt to fighting in a hot, arid environment while living in basic camps in the bush, a far cry from the comforts of life in the United Kingdom. This part of Kenya is relatively hot throughout the year.
The temperature has a big influence on how easily soldiers operate, and in hot weather they're going to sweat a lot, partly because they're carrying a lot of equipment. So all soldiers now wear body armour when they're on operations. That weighs maybe 20 kilos. They're going to be carrying ammunition. They'll probably have 10 kilos of that. They've got a weapon that's going to be about 10 or 12 kilos. They'll have a rucksack with their sort of overnight equipment on their back. That's going to be another 15 kilos. And so they're carrying an enormous amount of weight. And it's much easier to do if you're in England and training in sort of 5 degrees centigrade than it is if you're in Kenya and training at 30 degrees centigrade. And so giving them that experience makes them know what they're going to expect when they get out to an area like Afghanistan or Mali, where we might be fighting.
It is among the most demanding training that British soldiers do. Firing live rounds using heavy weapons, fire mortars, artillery, anti-tank weapons, machine guns, snipers, just like in real war. There are not so many places in the world where such immense training can be conducted.
I think the key point when it comes to pre-deployment training or training for specific operations is that the training you are conducting is realistic and realistic against the threats that soldiers may face, but also realistic in terms of the environment that we'll experience. And Kenya, in this instance, is significantly more challenging and more representative of some of the areas that we operated previously in Afghanistan than parts of Wales or southwest England.
At both camps in Loldaiga and Archer's Post, soldiers mimic real war scenarios. These scenarios are wide range, allowing troops to expand on their capabilities.
It's been crucially important, particularly when we were operating in Iraq and Afghanistan, that we could train in an area which had high temperatures, which had arid terrain, mountains. All of those things helped us to operate then, but it also gives us the capability now to go anywhere that we need to go in the world.
In Loldaiga, high training technology is employed. Rounds used here are blanks, but infrared pointers on the gun barrels and receivers on the soldiers' vests and helmets tell who has been hit and who is killed. Everything done in the field is captured and transmitted to a computer system at the camp's command center. It is analyzed, with troops being shown tragic errors they made during the exercise.
On an annual basis, it's probably between 5,000 and 7,000 British soldiers will come from the UK to train here. We do a number of different exercises of different sizes. So the exercise that's going on at the moment is kind of a medium-sized exercise. So 600 or 700 troops are out here doing their training. I think next spring there will be a bigger exercise, and we might have up to 1,500, 1,700 coming out from the UK for that exercise. So it varies, but it's normally between sort of 4,000 to 7,000.
In recent years, infantry units were sent to Kenya for their final training before being deployed to Afghanistan. And for the Rapid Reaction Force, 16 air assault to be battle ready.
My name is Melita. My second name is Loingisa. My home area is Laikipia North, sub-county of Laikipia. My role here is I'm the range officer for Archers Post training area as well as Laikipia training area. That is working for the Defense Infrastructure Organization within Batuk. I'm an ex-KDF person. I joined the military, and then after discharge from the KDF, specifically the Navy, I was in the Navy, I came to Batuk and got the position of range officer. My role is to provide the safe place to train for the battle group. Safe people, safe equipment, safe place to train.
Kenya allows large-scale exercises, so the whole battle group, the infantry, the artillery, the engineers, the intelligence and surveillance assets are tested alongside each other. They also train alongside the Kenya Defence Forces, the KDF.
I mean, I can't speak on behalf of the KDF, but I think that they benefit from exposure to our sort of practices just as we benefit from exposure to theirs. My son was recently, about 2 years ago actually, at the British Officers Academy at Sandhurst in England, and in his platoon, one of his best friends who came to stay with us for a few weekends was a young Kenyan officer who was going through his officer training in the UK.
My name is Enock Sikolia, and this is the Kenyan Historian.